Sunday morning on the 9th of October, and it's just coming up to 9 o'clock in the morning. And before we get into the tracker, there's not a lot happening. It's as predicted yesterday, but this is the most interesting part, just to explain the challenges that are going to be faced when the guys turn the corner. I should just say, in Australian terms, if you say you got a bunch of sailors out there and say, "Hey guys," you're referring to men and women. So it's just a colloquial term. Anyway, so you can see here it's like the basis of a sort of a high pressure system here forming above these low pressure systems. So, but there's not much wind along the track. But if we follow it through, you can see what's going on down here. That looks a bit more like the South Atlantic High, okay, and that'll be heading, the centre of that'll head to the east, but you see it's quite low, so that means there's headwinds up here. So the guys would either have to come into this low here or come down further and hook around the bottom here towards Cape Town, and that's sort of usually the norm, down like that. But then if we extend it across a little bit more, a couple of days across, you can see, that's ridge, so that's fine. You could cut the corner and stay a little bit closer, more direct route. And then going ahead a bit more, bingo, you start to get confused because of what's happening down here. This is the big high pressure system again, forming between these storms and lows down in the Southern Ocean, but not good if you cut the corner too quick because you've got headwinds. And then you go along a bit further, that one's definitely now turning into a high, but it's still down pretty low. You don't want to be caught on the top of it. You've got headwinds then, so you're going to want to again come down and head across towards Cape Town. And as we go to the end, we go across, you can see that one has headed across, but it's flattened out again now. It's got a big area of no wind in the middle, but you've still got following winds down here, and then you've got another high pressure system forming there, which will slowly come across. You can see it moving to the east. That's what they always do, and eventually it's going to end up creating a hole just in front of Cape Town over here. Anyway, you can see generally there's sort of a high pressure action here, so going to get very confusing. So the reason I wanted to highlight that, I'll come back to normal weather now, and I'll increase us a little bit there. Come on, up here. Okay, you can see we've got the trades now, and it's going to be just a straightforward flat out boat race for these guys. You've got Abelish over here doing what have we got, 6.8 knots. Tapio is doing 6 knots. Pat is doing 6.2, so they're very, very evenly matched. It'd be interesting to see if Tapio can hold that little lead all the way to Trinidadi. Kirsten's doing 6 knots. She's come around on the course, as we were saying before, because the wind's now definitely an easterly slant down here. Simon's just ticking ahead, 6.2 knots, so they're not really moving much in position, but certainly Tommy's got the ideal position there. He can maybe run a kite a little bit longer, shy kite or something, but he's probably 6.8 knots. He could be blast reaching. I'm not sure. He may have a kite up. Sometimes this forecast around the top here where it's getting light is a bit hard to pick. So coming back to good old Ayrton, he's very frustrated over the last few days. I can tell because he rings us every now and then, and very frustrated. But he's moving 4.9 knots, just about on course, so he'll be happy with that. Damien and Captain Goog, you can see, I'll just build this up so you can see it a bit better now. That should be a bit easier to see. I might be able to even pop one more here. Yep. Okay, you can see from their track they've been sort of pacing each other a bit, but Damien's now squeaked ahead. He's doing 5.6 knots and Captain Goog's 2.7 knots. Now, whether that's something to do with the night time or whether it's just local, or whether it's because Damien's running his big kite, which he's probably doing right now, but he's certainly got better boat speed. Jeremy, as we predicted yesterday, he's been caught at the back with 2.7 knots, so he's being affected by this. He's just lucked out, no breeze, because if he's doing 2.7 and Damien's doing 5.6, it's got nothing to do with sails, it's got everything to do with lack of wind. And Ian Herbert Jones is going to be the same. He's just fluffing around because the wind direction's going, it's crazy. It's very light. But he's still making 3.2 knots, so that's okay. Guy, I know, would be incredibly frustrated. He's a pretty competitive sort of guy, and no pun intended. Doing 1.8 knots, so he's not going to be happy about that. But anyway, is all about the luck of the draw. And out of the whole bunch, I think it's Elliot who's lucked out the most. He's sitting there, as we predicted. He'll be sitting there probably for most of today as well, doing 1.3 knots, going nowhere, getting a bit further out of touch with the rest of the fleet, so that's unfortunate. And Nord, not doing too bad. He's got a breeze there. He'd be having a nice sail, that's for sure. 4.4 knots, be flat water, and temperatures will be getting a little bit cooler, so he's having fun. So that's kind of cool. Now, if we come back here, this is as we predicted yesterday. The gap, remember that magic 550 miles that we used to talk about when Damien got around Finisterre? Look what's happening now. He's back to 550, in fact more. So he's lost out nearly 100 miles in the last day, so he's been going very slow. He's now 500 and near enough to 550 behind the lead boat. So he's going to be, well, let's have a look at the weather in a minute, but that's certainly frustrating for Damien, losing a bit there. Kirsten from the lead boat, and most of the guys in the back here 230 miles behind, so it's opened up a bit. Simon's pulled away. And he's got to jump on everyone, but he'll be the first one, coming back down here. Bernard Batesi is doing okay. When it gets to here, he's going to be the first one to hit the challenges, and it'll be a bit about the luck of the draw with this South Atlantic high. If he gets here and there's a roller coaster ride following winds, he may continue blasting away. Everyone's going to be challenged here, so that's the next period of opportunity and loss. Some are going to win, some are going to lose, but that's yacht racing. So watch this space. I'll just pull this back a little bit, and then we'll look at the weather. We'll get rid of that, so we can pretty much see the whole fleet there now. We'll come forward today, tomorrow morning on the 10th. Okay, you can see here Ian Herbert Jones, Elliot, Guy Waits, and Arnaud, all fluffing around in the light stuff. I would hope that Jeremy hooks down a little bit and gets this breeze and comes back on track. But still, Damien is going to be in the trades, and I think Captain Good will as well. But Jeremy may lag behind just a little bit. He's right on the edge of it. These guys just a blast now, just a pure boat speed. Sailor, keep the pressure on. But I remember, when you go down here, the wind is so constant, you don't touch sails for a week. You just put it on port tack, put up whatever you've got, and then you just go for it. I can remember having a good ride down here. Anyway, that's part of the course. It's quite fun, but it gets a bit boring because you don't touch anything. You just go. So that's 1 day out, and we come down here. Next day, 2 days out, same thing. Look at Arnaud and Elliot. Geez, I hope they get through that lot. Guy will definitely be into it. He'll be into it by then, but Ian Herbert Jones might be still lagging behind. Anyway, the trade's coming up. That's the 11th, so that's 2 days. If we go to 3 days, pretty much the same. So Arnaud's going to be challenged. He's going to get left way behind here. That's 3 days, nearly of very little wind. And Elliot will be into it. He'll be sailing again. He's out to the east, so that's a good thing. He'll enjoy the ride down through the trades and start to feel a bit better about life, although he never feels dull. So that's it for now, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.